Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article that is written by a woman titled, "The Dating Scene is Unfair." I'm here to affirm that for you. And guys, this article is, like I said, written by a woman. I believe she's either in her very late 20s or early 30s. And she's the one that did an article that I covered, I guess, a few days ago to a week ago, which was titled "The Mass Dating Exes of 2022. I know many of you guys saw that. And in that one, she was basically complaining, and I was having a little fun roasting her about how pretty much women are walking away from the dating scene because it's unfair, and there's no good men out there, and blah, 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 blah. In which you find out in the article that she spent 10 years in the hookup scene, and yet for some reason can't find a good guy. I mean, go figure. That's what the hookup scene is. You don't find relationship guys in the hookup scene. You find Chad and Tyrone. And Chad and Tyrone aren't guys that settle down. Now, in this one, she's talking about how women are finding the dating scene unfair. And I always find it amusing when I hear women complain about how dating is unfair and all that in today's world, because here's the deal. Men are not that hard to figure out. So if you're a woman that has above average looks, which is universally seen as above average looks, she can get guys. Okay, that's not going to be a problem. And if she does things to make herself more physically attractive, like keeps her weight, keeps herself thin, fit by going to the gym, dressing well, long hair, taking care of herself, all that, she can get even more guys. So when I hear women complain that it's hard to date or anything like that, it's like, you got to be kidding me. All you have to do to fix the problem is just lose some weight, get fit, join a gym. Within 6 months, you could transform your body. Seriously. Or there aren't enough good men out there. Well, then there comes the whole picky thing, having a laundry list of requirements when you yourself may have some good things, but you certainly aren't matching the giant laundry list that you have. And yet they complain and complain. If anybody has the right to complain, it's the guys, because guys could have a lot of things going. There are a lot of guys out there probably watching this right now that are above 6 feet tall, make above six figures, have a decent personality and decent shape, and still they're not considered to be good enough for today's gals of the 2020s. I'm sure many of you guys know about this. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go through this here. It's definitely entertaining here. So it starts off, again, the title is "The Dating Scene is Unfair." Some people fall in love and some don't. Some people experience unrequited love more often. And some people seemingly go from relationship to relationship. Dating is easy for the select few. I sometimes think that if life is easy for you in one department, it will be extremely hard in another. For example, my career hasn't been something I flat out failed at, but my dating life did not go well. I have a friend who has had many men commit to her, but she hasn't figured out how to turn her passions into a career. Some people have a significant other, but they can't keep friends. No one has it all figured out. We're all doing the best we can. Okay, I'll give her that. Not everybody has it all. You know, some people just are naturally better at one thing compared to another, or something falls easier to them, or maybe they were blessed being better looking. Who the hell knows? But that doesn't mean you just complain about it and say life's not fair, some BS like that. You take action to fix things in your life about yourself to remedy that instead of complain. But for your average Joe, Joe or Jane, it is easier to complain. If you visit dating forums on Reddit, you'll find that a lot of people are upset about their dating life and it seems unfair. They compare their dating woes to other people. And she says here, dating is unfair. No one says it's going to be easy for everyone. Some people hit the genetic lottery and have more options. Other people have more opportunity or access in life, so they are able to attract partners based on their accomplishments. Dating apps work for some people and they're hell for others. Life is unfair. You know, this keeps going back to the unfair thing. And I find it very funny when grown-ass adults say things like, this is unfair, or that's not fair. That's the stupid line that little kids do. I'm sure you guys, at some point when you were a kid, just said that, blurted that out, that's not fair, or some bullshit like that when you were a kid. And probably you had a parent said, life's not fair. I made the mistake of saying that just one time in my life to my old school military father. I don't know what it was. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. And because I heard it on TV and I heard other kids say it, I go, that's not fair. And he looks at me dead straight in the eye and says, young SSM, life is not fair. And he gave me that look like, don't ever say that again. Also, around that time period, I once asked for an allowance so I can go buy stuff, toys and all that, even though they always gave me plenty of toys. And my dad looked at me straight in the eye and said, "You don't get an allowance. You work for your money." And again, I never ever asked for an allowance again. And I learned early on, you want something, you make it happen. This is why it's good that all young guys have old school, masculine fathers at a young age to tell them how it is. So I thank my dad for that. I was blessed that my dad had some old school qualities. Anyway, back to the not fair shit. She says, "I don't mean to come off as callous, but it needs to be said. Complaining that other people have what you want isn't going to make it come to you any faster. I've accepted that my romantic life has not gone the way I would have hoped it would. I cannot change the past and I cannot control other people. I can only look within myself and choose to make my life the best it can be with or without someone else." Well, yes, you can make your life. There are things that are going to get in the way, but we, in a sense, are the masters of our own destiny. So something isn't working, we got to work on it to make it better. I agree with that. But she said here the romantic life hasn't gone as she hoped. In the previous article, I remember her saying she spent 10 years in the hookup scene. So if things haven't gone the way you want in terms of finding Mr. Right, Mr. Settle Down with, well, you obviously need to change your approach. 10 years in the hookup scene, you're not going to get Mr. Right. You're going to get Mr. Chad or Mr. Tyrone Sausage. Anyway, she says, I read some dude's comment on a Reddit post where he was saying that he's frustrated with dating apps because other people seem to get matches and get laid fairly easily. He was jealous that it wasn't working the way for him. A lot of men have that problem. They're obsessed with wanting to sleep with a lot of women and play the victim when they're not able to. Well, only a small percentage of guys have dating apps and got a lot of attention from women at best. And I mean, I'm being freaking generous here, the top 10%. Okay, top 20% can get attention, but the top 10%, especially the top 5% of the best looking dudes with the most attractive attributes can get all the attention. That's pretty much how things are in general. There are exceptions, but you know what I mean. Women are like this with relationships. We want to be in a healthy relationship with someone, but when that doesn't happen, it sends us into a downward spiral. That's been me. I spent a lot of time being upset that everyone I knew were able to find a partner multiple times while I'm struggling to get a date. Well, okay, then one has to look at oneself and say, all right, who are the guys I'm choosing to go out with? Am I being ridiculous and unreasonable with my standards and things that I want and feel entitled to? So somebody takes a good hard look at themselves and says, where am I going wrong here? Because obviously what I've been doing is not working. I'm sure you can find an answer. And that could be for both men and women. It's not just limited to women or her in general. We think that the world owes us a partner or a regular SCX partner. Then when that doesn't happen for us, we flip out. What causes this? Why are so many of us obsessed with dating? Who told us dating was going to be an even playing field? The halo effect is a real thing. Some people have more advantages when it comes to dating than others. Whining and complaining about it doesn't do a whole lot. It doesn't change your circumstances. Trust me, it never changed mine. My dating life just continued to be shitty. Well, she's talking about complaining doesn't do anything. Well, I see some complaining here written about talking about people complaining. Then make a change. Look at your situation, say, what am I doing wrong? I've been through this, but you guys get my point. Right now, I'm just focusing on being happy. I'm not delegating my happiness to other people. It's not other people's responsibility to make me happy. People are happy in relationships, couldn't care less about me. So it does me no good to continue to care so much about them. But it kind of sounds like you are. And true, a lot of people that aren't happy will then focus on everybody that has what they don't have. So as I suggest you do the same if you're struggling with watching your peers having the experiences that you want. Stop letting them occupy significant space in your mind. Start living the life you want. Go to events that you would enjoy. Book the trip. Don't have a pity party for yourself because you have no one to go with. There's always two sides to every coin. I read another post about a pregnant woman who was upset her husband refused to take her out on dates. She's depressed because her husband isn't romantic. You know what the comments told her? To take herself on dates. You can be in a whole ass relationship expecting a child and still be unhappy. Yeah, well, newsflash, a lot of people in relationships aren't happy. Okay, just because they're with someone doesn't make them, just all the stories I go over that people send me, it's amazing. Most people aren't happy. And you look at people who are married. I mean, first of all, the divorce rate here in the US of A is over 60%, and the rest of people that stay married are often either somewhere between just being bored, living like roommates, raising the kids, or they're absolutely freaking miserable and hate each other's guts, but again, stay in it for the kids. Only a small percentage of people who are married are actually, after time, still attracted to each other, still have fun together. It's extremely rare. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. It says here, the grass isn't always greener. We're all striving for the same thing. Don't be upset that your friend is getting married. Yeah, fat chance. Fat chance on that one that your average gal who wants to be married, no kids, nowhere close to being on the way to the altar, but all her friends are getting married. There's no way that's not going to happen. You have no idea what their relationship is really like. You don't have a crystal ball. They could ride off into the sunset and be happy forever, or 40 years from now, they'd be getting a divorce, forcing them to start over. 40 years, that's generous. Try 4 years at today's rate. The fact of the matter is, not one of us is getting the Cinderella story. Meghan Markle knows this better than anyone else. Well, wasn't Meghan Markle with some other dude, I think? And then somehow she met Prince Harry and was like, okay, I'm going to monkey branch over to Buckingham Palace. We have to identify what our perceived reality is versus actual reality. You may think everyone is partnered off because that's what you truly want. You can feel this way because everyone you know is partnered off. According to the Pew Research Center, 31% of American adults are single. Half of those adults are looking for a partner, while the other half is not. We don't know if the 69% of partnered people are happy. These numbers are constantly changing. Well, given what I do here and all the stories I've been going over the last 2.5 years, both this channel and my other one, and personal stories and articles, no, the majority is not happy. That's sad. You know who's happy? The people that have been there through that shit and now have lived to tell the tale, are on their own, living their life according to the way they want. Usually guys 35 and up, but especially the guys in their 40s. How do I know? Because I get plenty of comments from those dudes and letters and all that. It's pretty obvious. It says here, a lot of people are in relationships, some people aren't. This is why I feel like saying you'll find someone. I feel the saying is so damaging and implies that everyone will eventually find their person to live happily ever after with. The truth is that's not a guarantee. Most relationships are temporary and a lot of people settle. Yeah, the women will settle once they realize Chad and Tyrone aren't going to, the guys they really want, or whether they're the bad boys that don't have a job, but yet they love them anyway, or the high value guys that aren't going to go for them. Eventually women do settle, and guess what? They're miserable. Or they settle because they have such high, unrealistic standards that they're getting older and realize, shit, I better knock, 50 things off my giant list of requirements, or otherwise I'm going to be an old spinster the rest of my life, so I better do something about this. And they're miserable. But also we live in a time, in my opinion, that people are more self-centered than ever, especially a certain gender, and there's no making them happy. Having a partner will merely be an option or a serendipitous event that's not essential to having a good life. You can have a good life regardless of your relationship status. So what she's trying to make here as a point is that yes, you can be happy without someone, you can make yourself happy, and not everybody's going to have everything, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to go back to the fact that if somebody wants something in life and they're not getting it, then they need to take a look at and realize they need to reevaluate the situation. What am I doing wrong? What could be causing the problem? Well, I don't have this or I don't have that. And so, again, it's funny when you have a lot of women complain that they can't get a date or there's no good men out there. You got to take a look at yourself and say, what am I doing wrong? Because if you are 50 pounds overweight and you're complaining you can't get a guy, well, duh. Men, the number one thing on our list are looks. We're easy to figure out. Get on a diet plan. Get a good app that will help you with the having certain amounts of food per day. Weight Watchers is one. Join a gym. Hire a trainer. Speak to a nutritionist or a registered dietitian. Things like that. Lose the weight. Grow your hair. Take the hair dye out of your hair. Go to a salon. Take care of your nails. Start being feminist and some ball-busting G.I. Jada type. Okay? Stop doing all that, make some positive changes, and women will suddenly get attention from guys, whether in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. A woman that takes care of herself and is above average for her 50s is going to attract guys that are in their 50s and 60s. Or girls that are above average in their 40s are going to attract guys in their 40s and 50s. You get the point. So I don't hear complaining. It is way harder for your average guy to get a date and get a gal than it is for your average gal to get a guy. Night and day. And as for the relationships, y'all are too picky. So reevaluate, chip away the delusion of my overinflated self-worth, and maybe you'll have an opportunity. Not maybe, things will improve. But then again, if they feel like they settle and they're unhappy, well, then there's no making them happy. But anyhow, guys, that'll be a good one to go over here. I had to give this gal a little roast. All she has to do is make some changes where she's looking, what she's looking for and all that. And I think things will work out for her just fine. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think. Way harder for the girls or harder for the guys in the dating scene? I'd like to hear your opinion on this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.